Healthy relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships, are fundamental to our well-being and personal happiness. They are built on trust, mutual respect, open communication, and emotional support. These core elements provide a strong foundation that helps individuals navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life. However, even the most well-intentioned relationships can falter when certain negative behaviors creep in. These behaviors, often subtle at first, can gradually chip away at the bond between individuals, leading to emotional distance and, in some cases, the complete breakdown of the relationship. When left unchecked, these destructive behaviors can breed misunderstandings, resentment, and feelings of betrayal, all of which contribute to the eventual unraveling of trust and affection. It's important to recognize that no relationship is perfect, and all relationships face challenges. But when specific harmful patterns of behavior go unaddressed, they can cause irreparable damage. Some behaviors are overt, like infidelity or manipulation, while others are more insidious, such as passive-aggressive communication or emotional neglect. Regardless of their form, these behaviors undermine the foundation of trust and love that healthy relationships rely on. The key to preserving and strengthening any relationship is to identify and confront these negative behaviors before they lead to lasting harm. By being aware of these toxic patterns, individuals can take proactive steps to protect and nurture their relationships, ensuring that they thrive rather than dissolve under the weight of negativity. Here are 10 behaviors that can destroy relationships if left unchecked. 1. Lack of communication. Communication is widely regarded as the cornerstone of any successful relationship. It forms the foundation for understanding, connection, and the resolution of conflicts. When communication breaks down, the relationship is at risk of being built on misunderstandings and assumptions, which can erode trust and emotional closeness over time. Open, honest, and respectful communication is essential for partners, family members, and friends to stay connected and navigate the inevitable challenges life throws at them. Effective communication is not just about sharing thoughts or expressing opinions. It's equally about listening attentively and genuinely trying to understand each other's perspectives. Without this two-way exchange, it becomes easy for individuals to feel unheard, misunderstood, or unimportant. The absence of open communication can lead to frustration and feelings of isolation. For example, when one person suppresses their emotions or avoids difficult topics, they might begin to feel as though their needs or concerns aren't being acknowledged. On the other hand, the person on the receiving end might be completely unaware of the issue, assuming everything is fine. Avoiding tough conversations or bottling up emotions only deepens the emotional divide between individuals. This lack of transparency can create an environment where resentment begins to build over time. What might start as a small, unresolved issue can eventually snowball into a much larger problem, potentially causing long-term harm to the relationship. The tension that arises from unspoken thoughts or emotions can create a rift, leading to distance and alienation. Moreover, avoiding communication also means that important issues never get addressed, leaving lingering feelings of dissatisfaction or even anger. Healthy relationships require vulnerability, and that means being willing to engage in difficult conversations, even if they are uncomfortable. Rather than letting issues fester, it's essential to approach one another with empathy and an openness to resolve conflicts. When both parties in a relationship are willing to communicate honestly, listen actively, and seek mutual understanding, they can navigate challenges with greater ease and strengthen their emotional connection. Fostering a culture of open dialogue helps prevent misunderstandings and allows each person to feel valued, heard, and supported. 2. Constant criticism. Constructive criticism, when offered with care and consideration, can be a powerful tool for growth and improvement in a relationship. It allows individuals to understand their mistakes or shortcomings, learn from them, and ultimately become better versions of themselves. However, when criticism becomes a constant habit, where the focus is solely on pointing out flaws or belittling the other person, it can have detrimental effects on the relationship. Instead of helping the individual grow, it can create a toxic dynamic that causes deep emotional harm. Constant criticism chips away at a person's self-esteem, often leading them to feel like they are never good enough. In such an environment, the person receiving the criticism may begin to internalize the negative feedback, believing that they are inherently flawed or incapable. Over time, this can erode their confidence and sense of self-worth. When someone is repeatedly told what is wrong with them, it becomes increasingly difficult for them to see their own value, and they may start to doubt themselves in ways that go beyond the relationship. Instead of fostering a sense of love, respect, and mutual support, constant criticism creates an atmosphere of negativity and insecurity. The person being criticized might begin to feel that they are being attacked personally, rather than given the opportunity to improve. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, resentment, and even fear of expressing themselves openly. In the long term, these feelings can lead to emotional withdrawal, as the individual may avoid vulnerability or avoid engaging in conversations where they feel they will be judged or criticized harshly. Additionally, when criticism is frequent and pointed, it shifts the focus away from the positive aspects of the relationship. Rather than celebrating achievements, strengths, and efforts, the dynamic becomes centered around finding faults, which can create a one-sided and unhealthy interaction. The recipient of constant criticism may begin to feel as though no matter how much they try, they can never meet the expectations placed upon them. To maintain a healthy relationship, it's crucial to strike a balance between offering feedback and being supportive. Constructive criticism should be framed in a way that encourages growth, not shame. It should be specific, respectful, and focused on actions or behaviors, rather than attacking the person's character. Acknowledging and appreciating the person's strengths and efforts alongside offering feedback fosters an environment of encouragement and mutual respect. By ensuring that criticism is given thoughtfully and with care, both individuals in the relationship can continue to grow and thrive without damaging the emotional foundation of their bond. 3. Controlling behavior. Trying to control the other person in a relationship is one of the most toxic behaviors that can slowly erode trust and cause significant emotional harm. Control can manifest in many ways, whether it's attempting to dictate how the other person should behave, think, dress, or even who they should associate with. This kind of behavior often stems from insecurity or fear, but it can have far-reaching consequences on the dynamics of the relationship. When one person tries to control the other, it creates an environment of suffocation. Instead of allowing space for individuality and mutual respect, the person being controlled feels trapped, as though their autonomy and personal choices are no longer their own. They may begin to feel like they are walking on eggshells, constantly trying to please or meet the expectations of their partner, but never quite feeling good enough or free to be themselves. Over time, this loss of personal freedom can lead to frustration, resentment, and a deep sense of isolation, even within a relationship that is supposed to provide love and support. The desire to control can take many forms. It might involve controlling what the other person wears, how they spend their time, or even who they spend time with. It could also extend to trying to manipulate their emotions, thoughts, or decisions. This form of control may start off subtly, perhaps as suggestions or helpful advice, but it can quickly escalate into more overt forms of manipulation or coercion. In these situations, one person may feel as if they are being constantly monitored or judged, creating a sense of fear rather than trust. Trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and when one person tries to control the other, it chips away at that trust. Trust is built on mutual respect for each other's autonomy and the understanding that both partners are capable of making their own decisions. When one person takes it upon themselves to dictate the actions or choices of the other, it signals a lack of respect for their partner's independence and individuality. It can cause the controlled individual to feel diminished, as if their opinions and desires don't matter. Moreover, controlling behavior can lead to an unhealthy power dynamic where one partner holds the upper hand, while the other feels subordinate. This imbalance can foster feelings of insecurity, doubt, and a lack of emotional safety. The controlled partner may begin to question their worth or become increasingly dependent on the controlling partner, further weakening the foundation of the relationship. By trusting each other and fostering an environment where both people feel free to be who they are, the relationship can thrive, grounded in respect, love, and understanding. If control is present in a relationship, it is important to address it before it leads to irreparable damage. Open communication and setting clear boundaries are essential in such situations. Both partners must be willing to work together to rebuild trust and ensure that both individuals can continue to feel valued, respected, and free to make their own choices without fear of judgment or manipulation. 4. Lack of empathy. Empathy is key to healthy relationships, involving not just listening, but truly understanding and sharing the other person's feelings. When empathy is lacking, it creates emotional distance and can lead to feelings of neglect and isolation. Relationships thrive on mutual understanding, and without it, the connection can deteriorate. In relationships, empathy means more than sympathy. It's about putting yourself in the other's shoes and recognizing their emotional state. A lack of empathy makes the other person feel unheard or unimportant, damaging both self-esteem and the relationship's foundation. Empathy helps individuals feel validated and supported, especially during tough times. When one partner faces a challenge, empathy creates a safe space for them to express themselves, fostering emotional security. In contrast, the absence of empathy can lead to emotional disconnection, frustration, and loneliness. Ultimately, empathy strengthens relationships by promoting emotional closeness, conflict resolution, and mutual respect. It encourages open communication, emotional safety, and deeper connection, helping relationships endure even during difficult moments. Practicing empathy involves active listening, validating emotions, and offering emotional support, making the relationship stronger and more resilient. 5. Dishonesty and lying. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship, and dishonesty can quickly destroy it. Even small lies, when repeated over time, create an environment of suspicion and emotional distance. Each lie, no matter how minor, adds to the erosion of trust, making both individuals question each other's words and intentions. This breakdown in trust leads to confusion, hurt, and insecurity, causing emotional detachment and frustration. Dishonesty also creates a cycle of mistrust, where both people may start withholding the truth or telling small lies to protect themselves. Over time, this undermines open communication and the bond that once existed. Rebuilding trust after dishonesty is difficult but possible. It requires transparency, responsibility, and time. Both parties must commit to honesty and work through the emotional damage caused by the lies. While trust can take years to build, it can be destroyed in moments. However, with effort, healing, and patience, a relationship can emerge stronger with a renewed commitment to honesty and openness. Six, jealousy and insecurity. While it's natural to feel a touch of jealousy from time to time in relationships, when jealousy becomes excessive and rooted in insecurity, it can significantly damage the bond between partners. Constantly questioning your partner's loyalty, making accusations without evidence, or not allowing them to have personal space creates an atmosphere of mistrust and tension. This behavior can quickly escalate, leading to feelings of suffocation, frustration, and emotional exhaustion for both partners. When one person's insecurities dominate the relationship, it disrupts the balance, making the other partner feel unappreciated and stifled. Over time, these constant doubts and accusations erode the trust that is fundamental to any healthy relationship, and the emotional strain can lead to a slow breakdown in communication and intimacy. Ultimately, unchecked jealousy can undermine the very connection that is supposed to be built on mutual respect and trust. 7. Emotional neglect. When one partner fails to fulfill the emotional needs of the other, it can lead to a deep sense of loneliness, even when both are in the same relationship. Emotional neglect is often more difficult to recognize than physical neglect, but its impact can be just as harmful. When one person consistently overlooks or dismisses the other's emotional needs, or fails to invest time and effort into the relationship, it creates a growing emotional distance. This lack of attention and care can breed feelings of isolation, leading to resentment and a gradual breakdown of the connection. Ultimately, emotional neglect can leave one partner feeling undervalued and unimportant, eroding the foundation of the relationship over time. 8. Blaming and shifting responsibility. In a healthy relationship, mutual accountability is key to maintaining trust and respect. Both partners recognize their role in the relationship's successes and challenges, working together to address issues and grow. However, when one person constantly shifts blame onto the other for every problem, whether it's a small misunderstanding or a larger conflict, it creates a toxic dynamic. This pattern of refusing to acknowledge personal responsibility fosters resentment and frustration, as the other partner may feel unfairly accused or burdened. Continually avoiding accountability not only stifles growth, but also undermines trust, as the person being blamed might start to feel that their concerns and contributions are disregarded. Over time, this blame-shifting behavior erodes the foundation of mutual respect and understanding, leaving both partners feeling unheard and unsupported. Eventually, the cycle of blame can lead to emotional exhaustion, with both individuals withdrawing or becoming disengaged from the relationship. A healthy relationship thrives when both individuals take ownership of their actions and work together to resolve issues with understanding and compromise, rather than blaming each other for every challenge that arises. 9. Disrespecting boundaries. Respecting each other's personal boundaries is a fundamental aspect of maintaining a healthy and trusting relationship. Boundaries can take many forms: physical, emotional, social, or even mental, and each person has their own unique set of needs and limits. When these boundaries are respected, it fosters an environment of trust, security, and mutual understanding. However, when boundaries are ignored or violated, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it can cause significant emotional distress. Disregarding physical boundaries, for example, might make someone feel unsafe, while neglecting emotional boundaries can lead to feelings of being overwhelmed or emotionally drained. Social boundaries can be crossed by overstepping into someone's personal space or privacy, leading to discomfort and resentment. When one partner constantly ignores or disrespects the other's boundaries, it can create feelings of anxiety, frustration, and a lack of safety within the relationship. The person whose boundaries are violated may begin to feel disrespected and undervalued, which can lead to emotional withdrawal or even resentment. Over time, these repeated violations can damage the trust that once existed and erode the emotional connection between both individuals. Ultimately, when boundaries are not upheld, the foundation of the relationship weakens, and it becomes increasingly difficult to maintain a sense of emotional security. Respecting and honoring each other's boundaries is crucial for sustaining a healthy and thriving relationship, where both partners feel valued, heard, and safe. 10. Taking each other for granted. Over time, it can be easy to fall into the habit of taking the people closest to you for granted, whether they're your partner, family members, or friends. When you begin to assume that they will always be there, or fail to acknowledge their efforts and the role they play in your life, it can send the message that their presence and contributions are not valued. This lack of recognition can slowly erode the emotional connection between you and the other person, creating a sense of being unimportant, overlooked, or even invisible. Appreciation and gratitude are the emotional glue that holds relationships together. Without regular expressions of thankfulness, kindness, and recognition, the relationship can begin to feel one-sided, where one person may feel like they are constantly giving, but not receiving in return. Over time, this imbalance can lead to resentment, frustration, and emotional withdrawal, as the person who feels unappreciated may start to distance themselves to avoid further hurt or disappointment. As emotional distance grows, the bond that once seemed unbreakable can begin to weaken, potentially leading to a breakdown in communication and trust. Therefore, showing consistent gratitude and appreciation is essential in maintaining a strong relationship. A simple thank you, recognizing the small gestures, or openly expressing how much the other person means to you can go a long way in nurturing the bond. When both people feel valued and recognized for their efforts, it strengthens the connection and ensures that the relationship remains fulfilling and resilient in the face of life's challenges. Conclusion: every relationship requires effort, understanding, and mutual respect to thrive. While it's normal to face challenges, consistently engaging in the behaviors listed above can slowly erode the connection and trust you share with others. It's essential to recognize and address these destructive behaviors early on to prevent long-term damage. If both parties are committed to growth, open communication, and emotional support, relationships can overcome difficulties and grow stronger.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.